You know, I'm the dude. That's what they call me. You know that, or his dudeness, or Duda, or El Duderino.
Welcome back, Slotcar family, on another video on Slotcar Dude. Today we're going to have a look at how do I tune my slot car, meaning what can I do to make it run better. I've got a slot car that is out of the box running very decently, but I want to try and improve. I want to improve my skills as a builder, and I want to improve on how the car performs better. I did make some notices here because this is such a big topic, and I'm trying to focus on the 32 cars. Forgive me if I do turn off to 24s once in a while, because that's my main scale that I race and where I prepare cars, but nevertheless I will try and focus on how do I get a 32 car run better, more quiet, smoother. First of all, what you need to look at is you need to reduce friction wherever you can. What do I mean with that? I mean with that, for example, do buy aftermarket axles, do buy aftermarket bushings, do buy aftermarket gears. If you don't want to do that, you don't have to. You can do step by step the things that I will explain, also with the original parts that come with the car. So for example, if we go to polishing axles on those parts where the bushings are. Now, if we take, for example, a Carrera car, you can just pop out a 32, you can just pop out the rear axle. You've got those two bushings that you can push aside, and you can start to use grinding paper, very smooth one, to polish the axle. How do I do that? You just tear it into small stripes, like here, and you just turn it, put it around the axle, and then you just turn the axle, and with the second hand you just hold it. Does that help? Yes, that helps a lot. Anything where you can reduce vibration on the axles will help the performance tremendously. Now, where do I get grinding paper? What grinding paper should I use? Well, there is absolutely no limit. I use grinding paper starting from 1200 grit up to 12,000. Yes, you got it right. I've got an example here. I hope you can see it. This is a 12,000, and it's nearly like paper. Of course, you can use and get 8,000 or 6,000, or you can also use those sponges like here, 4,000. They also come up to 6,000. Sorry, just dropped the parts I want to show. What do I mean with that? All those very fine grit papers should be used in addition with water, meaning you put a drop of water onto the stripe, then you just flip it around the axle and you start to turn the axle. Now, if you use an aftermarket axle, like a Slotted or Slotting or whatever brand, you can still do that. They come in a better quality than, for example, the Carrera ones, but you can still polish a slotted axle. You just put it in the Dremel and then let the Dremel do the work, and just hold the grinding paper towards the axle and polish it. It turns out quite black, like this then. This means you're doing a good job, you're polishing your axle. So again, anything that reduces movement on the axle, and what I mean with movement is wobble, helps. Same applies for gears. Run in your gears if you want to improve the performance of your car. How do I do that? Well, you just use a battery. You just use something, or what do you call those? An accu. Sorry, battery going down. Sorry, the battery on my camera just went down. How do I run in gears? Best, my opinion, doesn't mean it's the right one. My opinion is when you have the wheels on, when you have the rubber on, and you let them run on a slow speed, something like, I don't know, 6 volts, 8 volts maximum. What I use to make the gear smoother running there's one thing you can use, and that is toothpaste. Yes, you got that right, toothpaste, especially the one that's got whitening stuff in it. Why? The whitening stuff has got some kind of sand in it, and the sand will make your gear running well. There are other options, like I still have from the old days this Parma lube, as you can see, home set lube, 0 friction grease, it says. I use that to run in gears. A second thing I use, is this Tamiya stuff. It's called, what is it called? Boron nitride compound. I don't know what it is, but it works pretty well. So those are the things I apply on the gear. Not much, just a tiny bit with a toothpick, and then let it run in. It helps run in the gear, the motor, the bushings, the axle. Again, any wobble, any vibration on the rear axle that you have will slow down your car and will slow down the performance. And you can actually feel it when you hold your car and you put it onto some power supply and you hold it, the rattle. If it does that, you need to work on it if you want to improve. So that does definitely help. The same thing, of course, applies for the front axle. Most of the time I put super glue on the front tires and then true it. Truing, yes, it does help. Again, we're at vibrations. If you're looking at original plastic rims like on a Carrera and original rubber from any kind or any brand, they're out of bounds. And this is not to blame. Producers don't look at that. And if you look at your private car, if you put in great rims on your car, what do? They look if they are out of round, and they add weights onto your rims. And it's about the same thing with Slotcar rims. They are not true. Most or many of the aluminium rims coming out of CNC machines today are round, but not the factory branded plastic wheels that you buy your slot cars and you get out of the box. So coming back to the front rims, this is a BRM, by the way, that I prepared. I don't know whether you can see it, but can you see the shine on the front tires? Yes, I put super glue on my front tires, let it dry overnight, and then true it on the truing machine again. Why? It makes the front tires slippery. They don't grip when they go into corners or out of corners. They slip, which you want on the front axle of a slot car, not on your standard car outside on the road. No, you don't want that. But on a slot car, you do want that, because on a slot car you don't have a steering. And again, truing, whether it's on the front axle or rear axle, does help reduce vibration. Less vibration, smoother car, more performance, more fun to drive. I need to look up at my notes that I did so I don't forget anything. Oh yes, get yourself upgrade kits. if you have a producer or online shop that provides that. There are like kits for, I don't know, I always pick on Carrera, but Carrera cars are toys. And Carrera says they produce them as toys. This is no blaming, that's a fact. If you want to improve the performance of a Carrera car, you need to hop up parts. So there are like slot invasion kits that use slotted axles, slotted rims, slotted bushings, slotted gears to improve and get rid of the vibration on the rear axle, for example. So start off with that. Start to buy a kit for the car that you have and see what it does. Do you feel more comfortable when driving it? Yes or no? It can happen that you say, no, this is not my kind of driving, this is not my kind of style. Fair enough for everybody. It doesn't apply for everyone. I'm just trying to give hints here, okay? And then there is one more thing I would like to pass on, and that is adding weight in non-magnetic cars. Where do I put weight? Why do I put it there? What does it do? Basically, what you want is you want to lower the center of gravity. The closer it gets to the track, the lower it gets, the better handling car you have. Now again, this is the inside of my BRM car, or BRM chassis, and I added two kinds of weight. I added some lead in the front here. I don't know whether you can see it, hopefully. Let me get the light. I think you can see it better now. I've got a lead plate here. Where do I get lead? How do I put it in the chassis? I use double-sided tape because then it's easy to remove, easy to move to the front or to the back and test it on track for me to see what I like most. I do have favors already because I've done it quite often. If you start off with, start to put the weight somewhere in the middle. This will improve for sure. Many guys put, after trying, weight to the front. Why? Because it simply pushes the front axle and the guide into the slot. So the deslotting is harder for the car because it has to lift the additional weight as well when it deslots. A second thing I use, let me see, I don't have it here with me at the moment. The second thing I use is tungsten. You can see it here on the outside. This is something like, this is very soft and you can put it on the spots you want to, and you can apply it very thin. Now, why would somebody add weight to the side? Basic things. Coming out of the 60s, it was always said that from the center of the guide to the outside of the rear wheels, this triangle, if you apply extra weight in this triangle, it means the most effective places to add weight. Yes, that's true, but it doesn't mean that this is the only place you should add weight. I add weight on the outsides here because it is like when small children learn to ride a bike. What do? You apply those extra wheels to the left and to the right, so more to the outside, so that they can start to learn how to ride a bike. Hopefully I know by now how to ride a slot car. This outside gives to me more stability. It is more downforce, more pressure on the outside. Now there are also guys that add weight somewhere near the front wheels on the very far, either before the front wheels or after the front wheels. What this does is if the car goes into a corner, it tends to lean on the inside. Now if you add weight, this means that the car leans into the corner a lot smoother, a lot more heavy, meaning this is very, very pleasant to drive, which means on the other hand, you can enter a corner a lot faster and also exit it a lot faster. But again, this is all testing and trying to your likes. What I do hope I get across is, yes, put in weight. Try different places where you put the weight and feel for yourself, what does the car do? What does it mean for my style of driving? Every style of driving is different. If I set up a car and I give it to one of my club mates, he will go like, this car is shit, I can't drive it. Because it's my style of driving is different to many other guys. And it's the same the other way around, meaning if I try cars from other guys, I go like, keep your chassis to yourself, but no, I can't drive it. So try, test, experience, feel, gain experience for yourself and find out for yourself what suits you best. Adding weight doesn't mean you can't drive a car. Adding weight means you improve the center of gravity. Now, anybody that will come up and say, yes, but all the good guys, drivers in slot cars tend to lighten their chassis and try to get rid of weight. Yes, you're right. They take away weight to add it then on the places they want to have it. Meaning they make the chassis lighter, they make the body lighter. When you have to drive a GT3, they make the inside of the roof lighter, meaning they dremel it out so that it becomes very thin, like a Lexan body nearly. So if you press, you can like really press it in. You can feel it because it's so thin, so that the center of gravity goes down. But they add weight to the places they want to have the weight added for their driving style, for their comfort. Now, I've been racing European Championships, yes, that's quite a while ago, for 24-hour races. When our team showed up, we were the only ones to add weight. And believe me, we kicked butts. We were called the German tanks because I was driving or racing in a German team. Our cars were always called the German tanks because they were like 5 to 10 grams heavier. But we improved grip a lot quicker than all the others did. The tire use was not higher than with the other cars, and we stayed in the slot a lot longer than all those lightweight wobbly cars. Yes, possible that they overtake you on the straight, but the next corner will come up, and that's when you, with a heavy car, will have an advantage. And we did this on tracks that were up to 70 meters long. Yes, we raced on 70 meters digital tracks in those days. That's about 15 years ago. Now, coming back, let me check my notes. I'll put it on my mobile. I've got it here on my side. Yes, so again, work on those vibrations. Try and get rid of them as good as possible. True your tires if you want to improve the driving and the behavior of the car. It's a lot smoother. Believe me, it does improve a lot. Reduce friction wherever you can, meaning polish your axles, run in your gears, run in your motors, apply the right fluids, oil to the places they should go. Now, of course you will ask me, well, this is so much information and there's so much detail in it that you didn't explain. Yes, it's true. If I would go into every detail, only like which oil to use, how to reduce the friction. This video will take like 6 to 8 hours minimum. One more thing I want to show you, because we're talking about vibrations for slot cars. Stay tuned, give me a second. I just need to get something that I can show you. Now, if you say, well, he was talking about the rims and that, or big car rims for one-to-one cars outside do use weight. Yes, that's right. You can also do the same thing here on slot car tires. What I have here is a workbench that has 2 magnets, strong magnets to the right and to the left, and a plate, a glass plate, to cover the magnets. I have a 3mm axle that has sharp edges on both sides, and I put them on a rim. I don't fix it to the axle, I just put it on. And as you can see, it has turned by itself. Why? Because it's got a natural heavy side, which is always going down. And it is exactly, if you look, where the screw is. So if I turn it, bit too fast, if I turn it slightly, it will always, because of the magnets, go with the heavy side down, which means this will tell me where on which side I either have to lose weight or I need to add weight on the other side to reduce vibration. But this tool is like a very high-end tool. That's when you do a lot of racing, especially with foam tires, as you can see here. But I just wanted to show you that there is no limit, believe me. There's always another step that you can do. What you can do is, when you take your chassis apart, like a BRM car or a Revo slot, just try to concentrate on the parts. What does this part do? What is it good for? Why is it here? Why did they put it or adjust it to this size or build it in this size? It's the same like the golden, what do you call those, T-shaped things for the chassis float. Well, those things you can buy from BRM in different sizes, in different lengths, meaning the float of the body can be improved. And especially with those BRM cars and BRM chassis, if you look closely here, I changed the wires and I changed the way the wire is applied to the motor. Why? Because all BRM, the 1 to 24 cars, tend to have the same problem. They're using very thick cables and they press on the inside against the inlet, because the inlet is very close to the motor. This means that the cable, the way it is attached coming from the factory, does not allow the body to float. So you have to take the cables off and reattach them, or use thinner cables like me and solder them more flat so they don't press, they're not too high and they don't press against the inlet and just won't allow the body to float. Those were just a few hints. I could go on for hours, but I don't want to make this video too long. So whenever you have questions on any topic, just write me a comment and I will try and come back as good as possible, as quick as possible. If there are more questions onto one topic, I will jump in and I will do an extra video. So this was it, Slotcar family. A few hints on building, setting up your chassis to improve your building skills. Try it. Just you can't, of course you can go wrong, but still, whenever you go wrong, you learn something on how not to do it. So you did learn. Slotcar family, thank you very much. This was it for today's video. If you like what you've seen, press the subscribe button, press that cowbell, leave comments, share, and come back if you like what you've seen. Guys, girls, Slotcar family, there's more to come.